Hello, welcome to Energising Flow. This is a nice quick class to get you warmed up, hopefully bring a bit of energy to the day if you're feeling a bit sluggish. Don't need too many props for today. We are going to start kneeling. So if you're comfortable kneeling without any props, then feel free to come into that position. Otherwise, you may want to grab, I've got a bolster here, but a couple of cushions to sit on or a couple of blocks. If your knees can feel a bit tender, this just completely takes the pressure off the knees. It's really cozy. So if you want to raise yourself up a little bit, then that's really helpful for knees. You're welcome to tuck toes underneath at the back if that feels better, or have the tops of the feet to the ground, whatever's best for you. And if this position doesn't feel good in any variation, then feel free to take a cross-leg position instead. But yeah, I think if you've got sore knees, certainly raising yourself up a little bit can really help with that. So finding yourself into a comfortable kneeling seat, and whenever you're ready, closing the eyes and starting by seeing if you can draw the spine long, allowing the neck to be long, reaching up through the crown of the head. And an option to bring one hand inside the other, palms facing upwards, on your lap, on your bolster, your cushions, kind of in a bowl shape. This is a nice position for the hands to be in, to feel open in the body. It helps to open the shoulders, the chest, but also from an emotional point of view, helps the body to feel ready to receive and to be open to receiving energy, which is great for this kind of fast-paced, dynamic class. And starting today by drawing your attention to your breath, noticing what it's like at the moment, not needing to change it or alter it, just observing. Maybe noticing if the breath is deep or shallow, which parts of the body it fills as you breathe in. Is it just the upper chest? Does it reach into the lower ribs or the belly? Noticing how the body expands to receive the breath as you inhale. Maybe seeing on your next inhale if you can draw the breath to expand the body forwards, backwards, to the sides, but allowing the shoulders to stay level. So perhaps drawing the breath into the lower ribs or the belly as opposed to the upper chest. An option to stay breathing through nose and mouth, or if the breath feels comfortable, taking it to just the nose to breathe in and out, whichever one is feeling right for you today. If you like to take Ujjayi breath, feel free to take that. This is your practice, listening into what your body needs. And maybe allowing the body to lead the class today, to constantly check in with your body. What does it need? What is it telling me? How can I feel the most spacious and open in this posture? Particularly if you've been practicing for a while, it may feel that there's a desire or a need to reach what you feel is the full version of a posture during practice. Maybe allowing that belief, if that's something that you know can creep in from time to time, to move away from practice today. Instead, checking in, noticing what your body is asking, where it's at today, and what would benefit it most. Taking 2 more deep inhales, 2 long exhales. And then leaving the eyes closed if that feels comfortable. Bringing the right hand onto the mat. Maybe if you're raised up, it doesn't quite reach the mat, that's okay. It can dangle down for the moment. As you inhale, reaching the left arm up towards the sky. Palm faces to the right. And exhale, slowly moving the right hand outwards to the right hand side, getting contact with the mat, or having a block under the hand if that feels better. And allowing the body to reach over to the right hand side, the left fingertips reach over to the right hand side. Coming into a gentle side stretch and opening of the left side of the body. Taking one more breath here. Exhale, allowing the right hand to come back in. Left arm comes down. And then left fingertips to the ground or to a block. Inhale, right arm comes up, reaching upwards. Exhale, left hand begins to move out to the side. And body bends over to the left. Right fingertips reaching to the left. So coming as far as feels comfortable here. No pressure for this to be an intense side bend. This is about wakening up the body, bringing in some gentle movement. And inhale, reaching up with the right hand and coming back to center. Maybe taking a few gentle circles with the shoulders. A couple of times circling backwards. And a couple of times circling forwards. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. Bringing the hands onto the shins. Pressing into the hands, tucking the chin, rounding the spine as you exhale. And then inhale, opening through the chest. The chest comes between the arms. Maybe the gaze lifts slightly, taking care with the neck. Exhale, tucking and rounding. So we're wakening up the spine here, allowing it to roll between one place and another. Maybe the head moves last. Coming through at your own pace here. So exhaling to round the spine. And inhaling as you open the chest, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. Maybe the chest shines up to the sky, maybe the gaze lifts. And coming back to center. So if you're sitting on any props, being careful to move those out the way. We'll come on to hands and knees. So into an all fours position, hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Drawing the spine long, gaze down. And from here, walking the hands forward, keeping the knees underneath the hips, and bringing the chin or the chest or the forehead down to the ground. So feel free to grab a block here or a cushion to bring the ground further up if that feels good. Otherwise, lowering down, if it feels good to come onto the forehead, arms reach out in front. Or if you want a bit more opening in the spine, you can come onto the chin. So this is about what feels right for you. This is opening up through the chest, through the front of the shoulders. And opening up the heart space at the front of the body. Taking a couple of breaths here in puppy dog pose. On your next inhale, the hands walk back in. Taking the hands one handprint forward, tucking the toes, lifting through the hips, pressing through the hands, coming to downward facing dog. Taking that nice big bend in your knees to start with, allowing the spine to come long, keeping that openness in the chest. Grounding down through the knuckles of the fingers. And then from here, option 2, begin to straighten the legs, keeping the knees bent or pedaling the feet, whatever feels best for you here to warm up the back of the legs nice and gently. And allowing the head to be heavy. The neck is soft, the gaze is in between the knees or the thighs, looking to the back of the mat. Inhale, walking the feet forwards, coming to meet the hands at the top of the mat, halfway lift, hands come to shins, spine is long, gaze down. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rolling up through the spine, arms come out to the side, up overhead, following with the gaze, and hands to prayer in front of the heart. Bringing the feet together if that feels comfortable, or keeping the feet hips width apart. On an inhale, arms rise out to the side, up overhead, and then lowering through the hips, bending the knees, coming into chair pose. So taking a glance down to check that the knees are behind the toes, so you should be able to see a few little toes there. And then arms come up to wherever feels comfortable, allowing the spine to stay long. So tucking the lower ribs in, maybe the arms come slightly more in front, maybe they open up into a Y. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. Exhale, lowering down, forward fold, legs come straight. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift, spine long. Exhale, hands by the feet, stepping back to plank. Option to bring the knees down for this first one, bending the arms, elbows towards the back of the mat, lowering down. Untucking the toes, pressing through the hands, peeling up into cobra. Exhale, finding your way back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step walking or floating, coming to the top of the mat, feet in between the hands, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bending the knees, coming up to chair pose. And back to mountain pose as you exhale. Let's come through that one more time. Inhale, feet together or apart. Inhale, arms rise up overhead, hands together. Exhale, bending through the knees, hands open, coming into chair pose. Taking a couple of breaths here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, hands by the feet, stepping back into plank. Lowering down with the knees lowered if you prefer, or lowering down from plank all the way or through chaturanga. Untucking the toes. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping, walking or floating, coming to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, release to forward fold. Inhale, bending the knees, arms rise up, coming into chair pose. And coming back into mountain pose at the top of your mat. Let's add on some extra bits to that flow. Inhale, arms rise up overhead. Exhale, lowering down chair pose. And then coming to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands by the feet, stepping, walking or floating, coming through your version of chaturanga. If you're lowering down from the ground, maybe having a hover halfway. Building up strength in the arms. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, finding your way to the top of your mat. Hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising up, chair pose. Bringing the hands to prayer. Taking the weight into the right foot and lifting the left foot off the ground. From here, option 2, begin to straighten and open through the back leg, warrior 3. Coming back to that one leg chair. And then lowering the foot. Inhale, arms rise up. And exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, arms up above the head. Exhale, coming down to chair pose. Taking a breath here. On your exhale, straightening the legs, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, hands by the feet, finding your way through chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step, walk or float, coming to halfway lift, top of your mat. Exhale, release to forward fold. Inhale, bending the knees, rising up, chair pose. Bringing the weight into the left foot, right foot rises up. Hands come to prayer. And seeing if you can float the right foot back, coming into warrior three. And then back to the one leg chair. Taking a breath here. Right foot comes down. Inhale, arms rise up. Staying in your chair if you can. And exhale, back to mountain pose. Coming to play a little balance. Staying at the top of your mat. Grounding down into the right foot. Hands come to prayer. Finding something to focus on here. And allowing the left heel to come to the right ankle. Finding your place in tree pose, maybe the toes stay down, maybe they lift to the calf, or maybe to the thigh, using your hand to help you get there if that feels good. Inhale, arms rise up. Grounding down through that foot. The left knee opens up towards the side. Exhale, hands come to prayer, lowering the left leg down. Coming on to the other side, weight comes into the left foot. Finding something to focus on, bringing the right heel to the left ankle. And then wherever you feel comfortable with the foot on this side, maybe the thigh, maybe the calf, maybe staying grounded. Inhale, arms rise up. Feel free to have a good wobble here. And exhale, hands to prayer. And lowering that foot down, taking a little shake. Coming back to the top of your mat, taking your feet to the edges of the mat. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, releasing down, forward fold. Maybe the hands come inside of the elbows into a ragdoll position. Or if you'd like to open up through the front of the chest, bringing the hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers, and then reaching up with the arms. And as you exhale, maybe the arms begin to come over the head, opening up the shoulders, the chest. Taking a couple of breaths here in this open and restorative pose. Inhale, rising up, bringing the feet back to hips width apart all together. And we'll come back into our tree pose. So grounding down through the right foot first, finding your place to focus, bringing the hands to prayer. And that foot comes inside pressing against the right leg. So you've got a sense of opposition as the left foot presses into the right leg. And then maybe lifting the arms up in front or up to the sky. And then releasing that foot and beginning to press away with the heel. Bringing the hands to prayer and seeing if you can come back into warrior three, keeping that foot lifted. So Feel free to bring the foot down if it comes down. Going with what the body needs. Inhale. If you can, keeping that foot lifted. One more breath. And exhale. Giving the feet a little shake if that feels good. We'll come on to the other side. So often there's one side that feels better than the other. This is certainly my more wobbly side, and it may be for you guys as well. So no worries if you end up having a wobble here. Bringing the hands to prayer. Finding your place to focus. Inhale. Drawing that foot to the thigh or to the calf, or keeping it grounded. Lifting up and out of the pelvis as you ground down through that lower foot. Keeping that foot lifted, bringing the leg and the foot out in front. Exhale. Seeing if you can come back into Warrior 3. Inhale. One more breath here. Half mountain. And release. Exhale. Shaking out those legs. Inhale, bringing the feet back together or hips width. Arms come out to the side, up overhead. Exhale, down into chair. Taking a couple last breaths in our final chair pose. Option to try a tiptoe balance here. Or keep the heels grounded. We've been doing a lot of balancing. Exhale, heels come down, releasing to forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, hands by the feet, stepping back into plank. Coming through our final vinyasa, so take it as feels good for you. Knees up, knees down, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolling forward, head comes last to plank. One breath here. And lowering the knees. Coming back to sit on the heels, feet can come out to the side. Finding your way to seat. And bringing the legs out in front. So if you notice that sitting in this position feels like there's a rounding in the lower back, then finding something to sit on, a block, a folded up towel, can really help. So, for example, if you did have something like a block or a book, then sometimes sitting on the very edge of it can help to tip the hips forward. It just makes it feel more comfortable to sit up straight. So finding something like that if that feels good. If you haven't got that, you can always take a little bend through the knees if that's better. From here, we'll be bringing the right knee into the chest, opening the right knee to the side, and the foot comes against the left thigh. Turning the body just slightly to face the left leg. Inhale, arms rise up. And exhale, coming down, keeping the spine long, so maybe you don't come down very far. Maybe the back of the legs or the hips feel tight, so absolutely okay to come down, bringing the hands either side of the thigh here. Or if it feels good, you can take the bind around the foot, lowering the head down. It's whatever feels right for your body. There's no judgment, there's no right or wrong. So feeling into like Like I mentioned at the beginning of class, about what it is that your body's asking for today. So not overstretching, just taking it to that place that it feels that it would benefit the most. If you do happen to have cushions, you can stack them up and have something to rest on. Taking a couple more breaths here. Inhale, walking the hands further in. Using your right hand to draw that knee back up. Straightening the right leg out. Bringing the hands behind the body and giving the legs a little shake. We'll come on to the other side. Left knee draws into the chest. Opening out the knee carefully, bringing the left foot to the right thigh. And turning the body slightly to face the right foot. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky, drawing the spine long and tall. Exhale, coming forward any amount, whatever feels good for your body. Maybe you stay tall in the pose. Maybe you come forward slightly. Maybe you take the bind around the foot. Feeling into what feels right for your body today. What is it asking for? Where can it sink into this pose? Where can it feel spacious and open? No straining or stretching. Using your breath to feel into any tightness, any muscles that are feeling maybe uncomfortable. Where you're noticing a sensation of tightness in the body. If there is discomfort, backing off a little bit, finding that place where you can breathe in, where you can feel comfortable, where you're beginning to feel that stretch, nothing too intense. And taking 2 more deep breaths here. On your inhale, slowly walking in. Using the left hand to bring the knee back to center. Hands come behind the body and taking a shake out. And from here, option 2, come into a reverse tabletop position. So there are 2 options for this position. Number 1, to bend the knees, bringing the feet about hips width apart. And hands will be facing backwards, coming underneath the shoulders. You may want to have them just slightly back from the shoulders to begin with. On your inhale, pressing through the hands. So for me, I need to have my hands a little further back. Lifting the body and allowing the body to lift. The thighs are parallel to the floor. The head can stay lifted or it can come back, whatever feels comfortable. Sometimes bringing the neck back can feel not so good, so if that doesn't, then feel free to keep it lifted. And if you'd like a little bit more opening in the front of the legs, then option 2, bring the legs straight and lift up from here so the feet ground down into the mat. And seeing if you can lift up with the pelvis. So it's whichever pose feels right for you. It may be that you want to take the tabletop with the legs bent. Sometimes that provides a bit more opening through the front of the body. So if that's what feels right for you today, that's where you need the openness, then taking that. So wherever you are, taking one more breath here, lifting the hips high. And exhale, tucking the chin, lowering down. Coming up to about halfway up your mat and finding a way onto your back. Option here to bring the knees into the chest and take a happy baby. Hands come in between the knees, reaching for the outsides of the feet. Bending the knees, drawing the knees towards the armpit, the soles of the feet are towards the floor. And if it feels good, you can have a little rock here, side to side. Maybe closing the eyes. Or maybe sinking into this pose in stillness, staying in center. Taking one more breath here. Exhale and bringing the feet down to the ground. Allowing the legs to windscreen wiper side to side. And then as the legs come over to the right hand side, allowing them to come down to the ground. Left arm comes out to the side, gaze over the left hand or the left shoulder. Maybe closing the eyes. Taking a little spinal twist here. Inhale, head comes to center, hand back down by the side on the left hand side. Legs draw to center, and then exhale, bringing them over to the other side. Maybe the right arm comes out to the side, gaze over the right hand, the right shoulder. Maybe allowing the eyes to close. One more breath here. And inhale, right arm down by the side, gaze to center, knees come to center. As you inhale, drawing the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms around the shins, taking a rock side to side. And then finding stillness, inhale, forehead comes to the knees. Squeezing yourself into a tiny little ball. And exhale, releasing down, finding your place in Shavasana, maybe a block or a blanket underneath the head, underneath the knees. Arms can come out to the side, onto the belly. Getting yourself cozy here. The feet can open up to the side. Maybe taking a deep breath in through the nose, a loud sigh out through the mouth. And spreading out on the mat, relaxing, as if somebody's maybe pouring pancake batter, allowing your body to open out, to melt into the mat. Allowing the breath to come deep into the body, filling all of those spaces that you were filling at the start of class. The sides and the back of the body, the belly. How does the body feel different now to at the start of class? Maybe it feels more awakened, more open. Maybe imagining streams of energy running from the crown of the head out to the fingertips and to the tips of the toes. Breathing in that energy, anything you need for the rest of today. And taking a couple of moments in stillness here. If you have time today, I encourage you to stay in this restful position for a few minutes longer, or as long as feels good. And if you are finishing practice today, thank you for practicing with me. Feel free to make your way up to seated whenever feels right, taking care. And I look forward to practicing with you again soon. Namaste.